Hey everybody and welcome back. Today I wanted to cover a 1500 watt hour power bank made by Allpowers. It's a complete portable power station kit that also comes with 200 watts of solar. Comes at a pretty reasonable price, so definitely thought this was worth doing a video over and I wanted to cover it today. Let's get into it. Okay, so how we're gonna do this video today is first, we're gonna go over some of the statistics and the features that Allpowers talks about on their website. We're just gonna go through those real quick so I can put them out there for the sake of this video. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the power bank, show you guys all the outlets, then we're gonna go over the solar panel, show you guys all its functions and cables and all that kind of stuff, everything that this thing has to offer, and then I'll talk briefly about what my experience has been like with this over the last 4 camping trips that I've been on in the end. So like I said, for starters, gonna go over some quick specifications straight off of Allpowers website because I don't have them memorized. Capacity is gonna be 1500 watt hours. Battery type is gonna be a ternary lithium battery. Wattage is gonna be a 2000 watts, so the inverter can max out at 2000 watts. Weight is 31.96 pounds. AC input is going to be 500 watts. Now it does say that it can charge from 0 to 100% in 1.6 hours using both AC and solar input. I think the solar input also maxes out at 500 watt MPPT. So gives you a little bit of an idea of what the capacity and ability of this power station is. For people in the camping sphere, this is probably more than enough than you need. As long as you've got that solar input and your ability to charge it from a 12 volt, which we'll go over all those cables and stuff that it comes with, but you can charge this straight from a cigarette lighter. You can charge this from, I've got an inverter in the back of my truck. And so I've used both of those things to charge this. Some of them work quicker than the other, obviously depending on the kind of output that that outlet has on your vehicle. And then you also have 200 watts of solar, which you can recharge this with. And so kind of before we go into the rest of the specifications, I just kind of want to set up the video with that. This is definitely a more than capable power station to power things like an overland trip, running a fridge. For me, I've been running a fridge, diesel heater, electric kettle. So definitely powered quite a bit with this power station. Let's get into the actual outlets and all of the little different things that you can do with this thing. So up top here, you're going to see we've got 4 standard AC outlets. We've got a standard 12 volt DC outlet. Then we've got 2 USB-C outlets, 4 USB-A outlets, an XT60 input for the solar panels. And then right here, we've got 3 buttons on the front. So this is going to enable Bluetooth. There is an app. I got to be honest with you guys. I just haven't used it much. I don't really see a need to use an app. I know some people may like to be able to remotely turn it on and off. I just haven't had the need to do that. And so I haven't messed with the app at all. This button right here, you hold it down, that's going to turn on AC. So these 4 outlets right here. And then just a quick click on DC, it turns on these outlets right here. Something I have noticed is with the AC, you just kind of have to hold it down for about 3 seconds to power it on. You heard that fan kick on. Every single time you turn on the AC outlets, you're going to hear that fan click on. The DC is just a short click and it turns on or off. Now real quickly, in the rear here, this is where we've got just our standard computer type cable input. So just one of those standard computer cords. I actually have one with me packed inside this solar panel, so we'll show you guys that in a minute. But you don't need any kind of inverter or adapter. Everything's built into the power station and it plugs in right there. You also have these 2 pretty sturdy handles. I've liked that. You guys did hear the fan kick on just a second ago. I found whenever I'm running anything that kind of draws a decent amount of power, those things run Now this isn't something that I've brought up into my rooftop tent or anything like that, but I could see it being a little bit more of a noisy unit. Doesn't bother me because it stays back in the back of the truck for my use case, but something to be aware with that. It also comes with this little carry case. Now, as you guys can kind of see, the back of my truck is typically very dirty from the camping trips that I go on, and so every single time that I've used this, it's been inside this thing while I'm actually out on a camping trip. And then right now, in here, move this off to the side. This is a little like cable pouch that it comes with, and this is where I store all the cables that I need to operate this thing. So here we've got a 12-volt outlet with the XT60 connection. So this you'd be able to plug into your standard 12-volt cigarette lighter, and then kind of almost like a smaller trickle charge up this power unit, just depending on what the output on your thing, on your standard 12-volt outlet is. All right. This is your standard AC cord. So this is what you're going to use to actually charge this from inside your house, or an AC outlet. Like we just showed you a second ago, plugs directly into the back of the unit, and you can charge this up fairly quickly. I keep that in there as well. And then for the solar panels, you've got your MC4 connectors here that go to an XT60 connector here. And so this would be able to plug into your solar panels and plug it straight into the unit. And so I keep all those cables in this little pouch, kind of handy, comes with the unit. Okay, now on the website, it does advertise coming with 200 watts of solar. Now, before they actually sent this out to me, I assumed that was going to be a 200 watt solar panel, but it is actually two 100 watt solar panels. Now, I wish it was just one 200 watt solar panel, just for the amount of space that these single 100 watt solar panels take up. But overall, I really like the design of the solar panels themselves. In the back, you've got this little pouch with cables. Once again, you've got MC4 connector to XT60. This one is like got your little battery type clamp, so straight to a battery, like a 12-volt battery. And then you've got this one actually has a barrel plug on it. So if you've got like maybe a different, these have no barrel plug connections on them, but maybe you want to use the solar panel for a different power bank, that's pretty cool that it comes with a little barrel plug. So this would probably work on, like, I've got a Blue Eddy EB3A that has a barrel plug connection, so I could probably use the solar panel on that power station as well. Now, real quick, I did want to just demonstrate how the solar panel set up, and then we'll just see how much we're getting out of the sun that's up right now. It's pretty straightforward, but we're going to do it anyways. So you undo these little clasps right here, open this guy up. Let's see, that's the bottom. I'm going to flip this. So like we said, it's pretty large. I'm actually going to go back here just a little bit. Get a little bit of sunlight. And then there's these legs here in the back. You can see right here. These just unvelcro. There's 4 of those. Now try to angle it directly towards the sun. We'll plug this guy in. So it's kind of funny. I went to show you guys how much solar output you can get out of the solar panels, but the battery's fully charged. So I need to drain it real quick a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is, one of my favorite things to use with power banks these days is these little electric kettles. I make the coffee in the morning with them at camp. They're quiet, they're fast, and it just allows me to make coffee in the morning, sometimes without waking up the kiddos. So real quick, I'm just gonna boil some water, draw some power out of this thing, show you guys use this, and show you guys this inverter doing its work with some AC outlet stuff. And then we'll probably have this drained down enough to be able to put some power back into it with the solar panel. All right, AC is on already. So get the screen to come up here. Now you can see right now, the electric kettle is currently pulling 409 watts. Now, like I said, the inverter can actually go up to 6,000, but 400 is, I think, the most I've ever used on it, just because the things that I'm using out at camp are pretty simple, like this guy right here. All right, so we got some boiling water, still pulling around 400 watts, actually just now shutting off on its own. We've only drained the battery to 98%. So that was pulling a little over 400 watts for probably about maybe 5 minutes, maybe just a little bit more. And we're rocking at 98%. And then just a side note for this, I do have links for this. I'll include one in the video description. Like I said, these things are awesome for making like coffee at camp. I've used it to make soup. So if you've got a nice power bank like this, maybe upgrading to electric kettle for coffee, boiling water needs is not a bad idea. So we got our little XT60. Gonna take that off, plug it in. You hear the fan going, and let's see what we get. Seriously? It's still saying at 100%. I guess we got to drain some more power. Okay, since that didn't quite do it, we're going to try seeing if we can suck some more air out of this using a hair dryer. So let's see what this does. 1,300 watts. So we're basically at 1,400 watts right now. And we're going to run this for a little while and drain down this battery. Nice hot air. 1406. Okay, we're at 90%. That should be enough to really kind of test out the solar panel. So once and for all, let's test this solar panel and see what kind of output we get from it. I'm gonna plug it in now, but the sun's kind of behind some clouds, so we'll give it a second. Okay, right off the bat, we're getting about 46, 47 watts. Like I said, the sun is really behind some clouds, so let's give it a minute until it pops out to see what we're really getting. So I'll tell you this right now, I've tested out, I don't even know how many of these solar panels on this channel at this point, but this is always the situation. As soon as you plug it in, the sun peaks behind the clouds. And so reviewing solar panels is always one of the hardest things to do, to be able to find a good day where there's sunlight to show you guys how well these things work. And there is spotted skies. I'll show you guys real quick. This is what I'm currently working with. And so bear with me for a second as I wait for some of these clouds to clear just enough. The sun, it's right there to peek out, and we can get a good idea of what these solar panels can do. Okay, so the sun is peeking out right now, and I'm getting 133 watts, which is kind of puzzling me. 135. Because I was under 145. So these must be 150, 153, okay. 156, 158. Okay, so I got 2 solar panels with my setup, and I was under the impression that they were 200 watts together, but I'm now thinking it's 2 200-watt solar panels, which is pleasantly surprising, because 170, 172, 173 watts right now is much more than I anticipated this being capable of putting out. So, okay, so I'm pretty glad that we did that test because I was pretty surprised by the output of the solar panels. Now, I've brought them on some trips with me, but as you guys will see, I don't know when this video is coming out in relation to some of the trip videos that I've done recently, but you guys will see in those videos, we've got caught in some rain, it's been cloudy, and so being able to use the solar panels this time of year, it's winter, it's February now, and we've been doing a lot of camping trips in January and February, and so really haven't been able to truly test out the solar panel. On one of the trips, I threw it up just to see if I could get anything from it, but it was cloudy. I was getting like 15 watts, and that trip, it was like rain the entire trip we were out there. And so really hadn't been able to truly test them out until right now. And pretty excited that it's actually two 200-watt solar panels. So 400 watts of solar total, plus a 1500 watt-hour capacity battery, which is pretty stinking good. As is, this is a bit, the portion of the video where we'll talk about what my experience has been like with this. I have brought this on, I think 3 or 4 trips now, and I've used it to power everything on those trips, and I've never run out of battery. Now, on one of the trips, I did charge it a little bit with the inverter because I was running a diesel heater twice as long as I thought I was going to need to. I made coffee every single morning with this, and so I used a ton of power on that trip. Now I've got a 50-quart fridge currently switching that out to something else, but I've got a 50-quart fridge that I ran off of this, a diesel heater that I ran 2 nights off of it, and then coffee with this guy. And that's how I've been camping the last 4 trips or so. And so this thing has worked really well for my use case. Now I'm typically like a weekend warrior type trip thing. We try to get maybe every other weekend is like ideally what I would like to do, how often I like to go. And they're usually like Friday night, Saturday night, come home Sunday. And so for something like that, without any power replenishment, this should be just fine for that type of application. However, if you're going on an extended trip, you're definitely going to want to be able to recharge this. It is great to know, as long as you've got good weather conditions, 400 watts of solar is quite a bit of solar. And so to be able to charge this up with those solar panels should be pretty easy for you. Now you also have that 12-volt cigarette lighter like we were talking about before, but that's probably going to charge things a lot slower. A lot of vehicles, especially trucks nowadays, have inverters. Mine's got a 400-watt inverter. It will run at 400 watts when the truck is not running. I have to be careful with that to make sure that I don't drain the truck battery. But I've charged it up when it is running, and we'll probably charge it like 110, something like that, watts. And so while the truck is running, and if I need to, that's a pretty cool way to do this. And so you really can kind of charge this up indefinitely, plug it into the truck while you're on the trail, and let it go from there. And so that's been my experience with it. There has been one issue that I've had with it, and it was actually when I was taking off the little protective film on the screen here. The little like protective piece that goes over the screen, this little plastic piece, kind of popped out a little bit. And so definitely something to be aware of. That is the only issue that I've had with it so far. It hasn't done anything weird or quirky. It's worked great. In these videos, I only have a couple weeks to be able to use it and then put out a video. And so I wouldn't by any means call this a long-term review at all. If anything negatively happens with my use case in this, you guys will hear about it in a future video, so make sure you subscribe to that, but I just can't give you any long-term advice on this thing at this point. Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to pull up the pricing as it stands right now on this unit, straight off their website, $699 US. It says it's on sale for $500 off, so typically $11.99. The S2000 plus the 2-piece solar panel, the 200-watt solar panel, they're asking $9.99, and actually that's typically just $11.99. And so Right now you can get just the standalone power station for quite a bit more, so $699, but it looks like normally it's the same price just to get the two 200-watt solar panels. So if you get this when it's not on sale, I think that would be the route to go. Now I'll have a link in the video description where you guys can get the solar panel, and I think they have a discount code for you guys as well that I'll include in the video description. Overall, I've been pretty satisfied with the unit and what it's able to accomplish for my needs. I hope this video is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you guys have a specific video you want to see in the future, let me know. I love reviewing gear like this. So until next time, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.